2,355 pounds. This is the Rockwood A122TH ESP. That whole long series of letters there is its full model name, and that stands for the A122 floor plan with the toy hauler front deck in the ESP Extreme Sports Package Edition. Now, part of the reason I'm panning around it here is to kind of show you a cool A-B comparison that I might jump back and forth to as we go. This is just the off-road edition toy hauler version of that white A122S. So if you'd prefer a front storage trunk instead of the front toy hauler deck, well, we have one of those too, but it's got the exact same layout, just a little bit different color package. And like I said, we'll kind of do a little bit of an A-B bounce back and forth as we go. Now, before we get her all opened up, I wanted to take a look at this thing in full privacy sleeping mode with all the window shades drawn, the dinette folded down into a sleeper right here, and that's what's kind of cool about this one. You know, the general purpose of this is to be a singles or couples camper. You've got your main 54 by 80 inch bed in the back. You've got that dinette that can obviously fold down to an extra sleeper up front. Very comfortable for one adult, maybe a couple little kiddos, depends on how, you know, kicky-leggy they are. Like my daughter, oh my god, she will bruise your shins sleeping with her. Every now and then she hits old dad in the, I don't know, parent biscuits. If she asks me to snuggle with her. Anyway, point is, this is very good for couples camping, or if you got like a grandpa, grandma, and maybe one grandkid, or if you have like a couple people who want to go out together and do a little bit of off-roading on a couple of dirt bikes. It's a very good buddy camper or hunting camper as well. And between all the shades, all the windows that can be drawn in the two separate sleeping spaces, it is, you know, obviously not a bunkhouse, but it's something that can sleep a couple people comfortably all at the same time, which is kind of cool. Now, in full-on daytime camping mode, one of the things that really struck me is last year the Toy Hauler series had a really dark interior decor. And this year, they brightened it up significantly, basically using the same flooring and wood tones as you'd find in the ultra-popular Rockwood GeoPro. And I think it was a genius decision. Now, they still did like little green inlays, accents, and it kind of helps tie the inside and the outside together a little bit and gives you a little bit of that sort of sport look and feel. But it makes this little camper look and feel not so little. Now, we've got a free-floating table here. Obviously, it can fold down into a sleeper. But if you want to fold it down for picnic time and take it outside, you can do that too. Those dual skylights with those shades will allow 4 adults to comfortably sit at that table at the same time. And then we've got a 12-volt ceiling fan up here, which if you're going to be boondocking, that's going to be your primary cooling source right here, because you're going to open these side breeze windows, turn that on, and get like a 6-mile-an-hour breeze trucking through this thing. And that's another thing. Speaking of windows, you have 360 degrees of visibility in this camper. You have windows on the front, the rear, both sides. You can have views anywhere you want in this camper. Now, just like the A122S, the interior of here, other than the different visual aesthetics, is identical. You've got the same flush mount stovetop to give you some prep space and that handy sink cover. You've got the same 12-volt refrigerator, which especially for this, if you're boondocking, you're going to appreciate the 12-volt nature of that and the propane power. Although chances are, if you're going to be using this in the sun, you're going to use it on propane mode anyway because it'll keep the camper cooler. Speaking of cooler, if you do have 110 power, then you can use this thing down here. This is a combination electric heater and air conditioner. It's technically speaking a bi-directional heat pump if we're going to be specific about it. But effectively, it can work anywhere from just above freezing to just below scorching hot to keep this camper very comfortable. And if you are going to be primitive camping and you need some heat, that's where the propane furnace comes into play. So we have 2 sources of heating, 1 electric, 1 propane, 2 sources of cooling, one requiring 110 power and one that'll work off 12 volt. So this is a 54 wide by 80 inch long, kind of, you know, thinner Camp Queen bed. Not thinner as in thickness, but thinner as in depth. Maybe more narrow would be a better way to describe that. But it is still a heated mattress, which is kind of cool. Especially if you are going to be off-grid camping in that sort of spring-fall situation. Up here, we've got a handy little clothing storage, like hanging rack, as it were. I've been doing a lot of videos. I'm hot. I've been rained on all day. I'm tired, so pardon me if I'm kind of jumbling through the end of this here. I am doing my best. Simple TV hookups. If you are going to be at a park or if you have like a little portable satellite type thing, you can run a coax line from there, set a TV on top. speaking of entertainment, over here we have a Furrion, HDMI, and USB power outlets on the face of this Bluetooth stereo. So if you want to bring a Blu-ray player or anything HDMI and plug it in, or if you want to use one of those streaming sticks and then use the USB plug for power, you can do that. Plus, you have dual power outlets down here, USB plugs that is, for like phone charging and whatnot. Now you've got a full-on microwave down below here, so that kind of like a travel trailer. You've got sort of travel trailer features in a folding camper here, and it's kind of one of the neatest things about these Hardsides is that I think of it as much of a fold-down travel trailer as a pop-up camper. I know that sounds funny, but I don't know, it makes sense to me, and if it makes sense to you and me both, then you're thinking like me, and that's a scary prospect. One more thing, well, a couple more things actually. A little more storage than meets the eye in this one at first glance. Because as we see, the bed easily flips right up with the help of that little gas strut assist right there. And this pocket is actually accessible from both inside and outside. Now those propane tanks are in there because this thing is straight off the truck, and we haven't had a chance to even go through and prep or anything yet, which is why the tires and the steps and stuff aren't on that we'll talk about outside. So, handy drawer under the microwave area right here. Now under your benches, the door side bench does have storage accessible from both this cabinet door as well as by simply taking the cushions and stuff off, or an outside compartment, kind of like under the bed. That's a inside and outside accessible. Now there is no storage under this bench right here because that's where you have your furnace and your converter and a whole bunch of mechanically type things, including some power outlets. And then just a nice little chunk of space under the sink so that not an ounce of space goes to waste in a Rockwood A-frame. I always like to try to take a look at something in travel mode. Usually that means showing a travel trailer or fifth wheel with the slides closed. In this case, it means showing this A-frame all folded down. What's kind of cool about these, when they fold down, especially if you got a bigger vehicle, you can still utilize a lot of your rear view mirror. It's not going to be so big and blocky like some things are. You have access to both the front storage tray as well as the roof-mounted bike rack here, or, well, it's just a general mounting rail system, bikes, kayaks, whatever. So you can kind of have a couple different sort of things going on. Now, one other thing I want to mention is this pathetic little tire from like 1954 right here. That is not the tire that's going to be on this camper when you take it home. Because these have an upgraded suspension in the ESP series and they sit higher, when they ship on a double-decker truck, they have to ship with a smaller shipping tire. This big beefy looking beauty set of tires right here, these will be the tires that are on it when you take it home. This thing is fresh off the delivery truck, and we have had we've literally not touched it other than me walking around it at this point. Now, speaking of that big front storage tray, because really that's the reason you're looking at this one, the A122TH, and not that white A122S behind it right there, kind of peeking around the corner of its brother. They're the same camper, they're the same main floor plan, but instead of that front storage trunk, what you're getting here is a bigger upgraded suspension, those wicked aggressive looking tires, which I kind of had set there just to give you the visual. And then you've got the front cargo deck up here. And the deck rails around that can also double as loading ramps. So that's what I love it when anything is dual purpose, because then it's one less thing that you have to deal with, like juggling around your campsite, especially a small camper like this. You don't have the storage space to like tuck things away and hide things away, so whenever one thing does two things, well, it's worth everything. Then just a quick, for instance, here's a look at the non-toy hauler version. Now you can't mix and match decors, you can't pick one exterior with the other interior. Just like to give you a quick comparison. What's funny is both of these things are fresh off the apple cart basically, and that white one right there is already spoken for. Somebody walked in, they happened to come in looking at Rockwood A-frames, they looked over and went, "Holy cow, what is that?" And we showed them it was one of the new ones, and they put their name on it right on the spot. The good news is, we've already got more coming. So again, they're basically the same box. Now this, I should mention, you've probably assumed as much already, but you see the, and I did talk about it earlier, but once again, these big, beefy looking high profile wheels, those will be on the camper when you take it home, not these dinky little pathetic shipping wheels. Now this will also have a double entry step instead of the single entry step, because it does sit higher off the ground. Rockwood accordingly extends the entry steps for easy come and go. But then again, attention to detail like that is what makes these guys so darn successful in their class and category. This is narrow body, so it's easier to see around, although I always recommend towing mirrors. Don't be silly and skimp on your safety items here. The front storage tray on the front, the thing that you have to remember on that is, like, the camper weighs 2355 empty, but that's probably not what, well, not probably, it's not what it's going to weigh once you put something on the front of that. And do remember that that front storage tray is going to put all of that weight on the hitch of your vehicle. So you might say, oh wow, I've got like a 4,200 pound tow capacity, that's only 2355, I'll be fine. By the time you throw like a quad or a couple dirt bikes or something on there, it's probably going to be more tongue weight than something like a tow package SUV is going to be appropriate for. So what this is really good for are people who want to go off-grid camping, but they like to go out in the streams and the sticks and the mud and the blood, and they're way off course, so to speak. So this is easy towing, it's easy to get around those narrow trails, and then to be able to do some trail riding when you get there. Now, as I often refer to these A-frames, I call it a mutant, because you've got travel trailer features in a folding camper, like a double propane tank automatic regulator. This will also have a power tongue jack. Because the power tongue jack is too tall to fit on a double-decker shipping truck, it does have to ship with a manual jack. Just like the tires will be installed and the steps will be installed, the power jack will be installed for you before you take this home, so no sweat there. Now, this does have a simple side mount solar plug, so if you are going to be way off grid, you know, it's very easy to have a portable panel that you plug into this, but it's fully functional for park use as well. They do also extend, they put the front stabilizer jacks way up here under the cargo tray, so that when you're loading, you're not just relying on the tongue jack to kind of keep this thing steady, so you're not going to have to worry about like a the trailer kind of, you know, jutting at the last minute and dropping your tires off those loading ramps. Although with the nice ladder style load on there, it's going to be hard to do that anyway. Hot and cold outside utility shower right here. Makes it easy to clean yourself up if you're taking a little military cowboy shower, or if you want to clean your toys off real fast. As I don't know if I've done so many videos, I can't remember what I've said and not said. This is that straight pipe that drains right from the kitchen sink right here. So that's where you'd actually want to hook up one of those little blue tote tanks if you do want to utilize that, if the place you're staying at does not allow gray water to drain on the ground, which you shouldn't do for environmental reasons anyway, guys, but I know some people do. By the way, see these little hoses sticking out of this grate? Don't tuck them in. I hear people say that sometimes, like, well, your guys, you know, they had no attention to detail. They left these hoses sticking out of the air conditioner thing. Yeah, leave them there. That's called a condensation hose. You know, if you tuck that in, you're going to be dribbling water inside your camper. That's literally the opposite of what you want. Now, just like the A122S, the TH has this little outside storage trunk right here under the bedding area, and like all Rockwoods, you've got all LED tail and marker lighting. Now that little white box above the spare tire, that is the Wi-Fi Ranger, and that's going to give you easier, more reliable local site access to mobile data sources. It's basically a built-in router and signal repeater. If you don't know what those things are, ask your grandkids. It's kind of one of those things you don't need to know what it is, really, just how do I make it work. I think that's the more important thing. So obviously we could lift up the bed as we saw, but this is the outside storage to the underbed area. And this is not a bathroom model like the A213 has the half bath, but this has the, you know, your little porta potty included with it. So between this and the outside shower, technically a full function trailer, although I think this is probably better for just like late night emergency use. Now your RVQ grill is included, as is one of those resin top side mount little shelf tables that come with your Rockwoods. Again, we'll have the double step for easier entry, and then the folding handle for a simple come and go as well. Now what's also neat on the ESP series is they also include an inverter on this that is not included on the base non-toy hauler ESP version, so that short of the, what is it, the air conditioner and I think the microwave, you can actually flip on the inverter and you can run your household plugs off your 12-volt sources. So pretty cool, very good for boondocking, dry camping, off-grid use, which is probably the general intention for something like this. Pick up a little portable panel from our shop, or it actually does, it has both side mount solar prep as well as roof mount solar prep. So if you want to get one of those flex panels and have that stuck on, you see the handy little power port plug right there. You can actually have roof solar or side solar. So whatever you're looking for, this thing can accomplish a lot of goals. And hey, you know, folds down, easy towing, lighter weight, certainly lower dollar than a fully enclosed travel trailer, but it all kind of depends on personal preferences and wants and needs. And that's why we carry so many different things here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. So whether you are in need of hitching, pieces, parts, trades financing, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything in between, whether it's a pop-up toy hauler or a traditional trailer or fifth wheel toy hauler, we've got it all in one place. And other than hidden fees that we don't do, we obviously do everything else. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.